In the scriptural justice system, the highest of the high, the Most High, Yah, is the judge and jury, and the seed of Israel are his children. These are their stories. Fade in, Inselty Deed, War Room Day. Banks stands before a new section of the board. Isaiah 3:16-24, written in large letters. The team assembled, notably somber. Banks, we've documented what happened to the men. Castration, lynching, mass incarceration. Now we talk about what happened, what's still happening to the women. She reads from Isaiah 3:16-17. Moreover, the Lord saith, because the daughters of Zion are haughty, and walk with stretched forth necks and wanton eyes, walking and mincing as they go, and making a tinkling with their feet. Therefore the Lord will smite with a scab the crown of the head of the daughters of Zion, and the Lord will discover their secret parts. Banks, smite with a scab the crown of the head, scalp afflictions, hair loss. The list is long and specific. In that day the Lord will take away their tinkling ornaments, the chains and the bracelets, the bonnets, and instead of well-set hair baldness, and instead of a stomacher, a girding of sackcloth, and burning instead of beauty. Okafor, this is about the systematic attack on black women's dignity, health, and bodies. Banks, and it's documented medically, statistically, historically. We're going to prove every single line. The following episode contains discussion of medical abuse and trauma against women. Viewer discretion is advised. Okafor stands before medical studies and historical documents. Okafor. Let's start with what Isaiah specifically mentions. Smite with a scab the crown of the head. Hair and scalp afflictions. She pulls up medical statistics. Black women's hair loss. Central centrifugal cicatricial alopecia, CCCA, affects black women at 6x the rate of other groups. Traction alopecia, permanent hair loss from tight styling, affects majority of black women by age 40. Alopecia areata, autoimmune hair loss, higher rates in black women. Frontal fibrosing alopecia, increasingly common. Black women experience hair loss at rates significantly higher than any other demographic. It's become an epidemic. Is it genetic? Partly. But it's also environmental, chemical, and trauma-based. Look at this. She shows a study on chemical hair treatments. Okafor, relaxers. Chemical straighteners used predominantly by black women contain lye, formaldehyde, and other carcinogens. They burn the scalp, destroy hair follicles, cause permanent damage. Chen, why use them? Okafor, because natural black hair has been stigmatized for centuries, called nappy, unprofessional, unruly. Black women have been fired from jobs, expelled from schools, denied opportunities for wearing their natural hair. She shows documentation. 2019, black student suspended for wearing natural hair, Texas. 2017, Army regulation banning dreadlocks and twists. 2020, black woman fired for not straightening hair, Missouri. Multiple cases, children sent home from school for distracting natural hair. So they chemically alter it to conform to European beauty standards, and it destroys them, physically. Instead of well-set hair baldness, literal fulfillment. She shows contemporary photographs. Black women with visible hair loss, thinning edges, bald spots. It's so common, there are entire industries built around hiding it. Wigs, weaves, extensions. Not as fashion, but as necessity, because their hair is falling out. Riley, that's heartbreaking. Banks, and it's prophesied. Isaiah saw it, 2,700 years ago. Riley, instead of beauty, burning. He pulls up statistics on colorism and beauty standards. Skin bleaching industry targeting black women. $10 billion globally. Products containing mercury hydroquinone literally burning their skin to look lighter. Okafor, because darker skin has been stigmatized, called ugly, unmarriageable, less valuable. She shows painful documentation. Advertisements from the 1900s present marketing skin lightening to black women. Get lighter skin in just weeks. Light skin is the right skin. Don't stay dark, lighten up. They internalized the hatred, started burning their own skin trying to meet European standards. Banks burning instead of beauty, literal chemical burns, from products designed to make them hate themselves. Banks sits with Dr. Tanya Williams, 45 black psychologists specializing in trauma. Banks, Dr. Williams, you've studied intergenerational trauma in black communities. Williams, yes. Banks, what happens to a people, specifically the women, when they experience centuries of systematic sexual violence, medical abuse, family separation, and beauty standard persecution. Williams, complex trauma, PTSD that passes from generation to generation, mothers unconsciously passing trauma responses to daughters. What does that look like? Hypervigilance, difficulty trusting, especially medical professionals and authority figures, perfectionism, trying to be respectable enough to be safe, self-hatred, depression, anxiety, difficulty forming healthy relationships. She pulls up her research. Black women have the highest rates of anxiety and depression among women, but the lowest rates of treatment seeking. Because historically we've been told to be strong black women, that we can't show weakness. Banks, sorrow of mind, Deuteronomy 28:65. Williams, yes. Constant mental anguish, and no rest from it, because the trauma is ongoing. It's not historical, it's happening right now. How do you heal from that? First, you have to name it. You have to acknowledge what happened, what's been happening. Then you have to collectively decide to break the cycles. Can it be broken? Yes, but not while the systems causing it are still in place. You can't heal in the same environment that made you sick. Banks presents the darker half of Isaiah 3:17. Banks, and the Lord will discover their secret parts. She pauses, the weight of it heavy. Discover, in Hebrew is ara, to make naked, to expose. But secret parts is poth, specifically referring to the reproductive organs. Internal reproductive system. Not just external violation, internal affliction, exactly, and the data is devastating. Act 1, Reproductive Health Crisis INTI, Research Lab Day. Riley projects medical statistics on the screen. Riley uterine fibroids, benign tumors that grow in the uterus. Let me show you the racial disparity. Uterine fibroid rates. White women by age 35, 30 to 40% will have fibroids. Hispanic women by age 35, 30 to 40% will have fibroids. Black women by age 35, 60 to 80% will have fibroids. Black women by age 50, up to 90% will have fibroids. 90%? Riley, yes. And it's not just prevalence. Black women's fibroids are larger in size, more numerous. Multiple fibroids appear at younger ages, early 20s versus 30s to 40s, more severe symptoms, higher rates of complications. Okafor, entering. And the medical establishment has no explanation. Genetics can't account for that level of disparity. Diet, environment, none of it fully explains why black women specifically have this affliction at rates double or triple other groups. Banks, the Lord will discover their secret parts. The reproductive system itself is under affliction. Okafor presents additional reproductive health data. Okafor. It's not just fibroids. Look at the complete reproductive health crisis. Black women's reproductive health. Fibroids, 80 to 90% by age 50, lead to hysterectomies at 2 to 3x higher rates, cause infertility in 5 to 10% of cases, severe pain, bleeding, complications. Endometriosis, historically underdiagnosed in black women. When diagnosed, more advanced stages. Takes longer to diagnose, average 4 to 11 years. Maternal mortality, 3x higher death rate during childbirth. Complications dismissed by medical providers. Pain undertreated. Infertility, higher rates than white women. Less access to fertility treatment. When treated, lower success rates. Hysterectomy, black women 2 to 3x more likely to have uterus removed. Often at younger ages, removes ability to bear children permanently. Cervical cancer, higher rates in black women, lower screening rates, higher mortality when diagnosed. Their reproductive systems are systematically failing at rates no other group experiences. What do doctors say causes this? They don't know. They theorize. Stress, diet, genetics, but none of it fully explains the disparity. It's a medical mystery. Banks, unless you read Isaiah 3:17, then it's a prophecy. Inte, Research Lab Night. Riley digs deeper into the fibroid crisis specifically. Riley, let me show you what fibroids actually do. He projects medical diagrams showing uterine fibroids. These tumors grow inside or on the uterus. They can be size of a pea, size of a grapefruit, size of a watermelon, yes, that large. Multiple tumors at once. Some women have 20 plus. Effects of fibroids, severe menstrual bleeding, some women bleed through clothes daily, debilitating pain, pressure on bladder, frequent urination, pressure on bowels, constipation. abdominal swelling, looking pregnant when not, pain during intercourse, infertility or miscarriages, anemia from blood loss, fatigue, weakness. And the medical solution? He shows treatment options. Fibroid treatments. 1. Wait and see. Do nothing. Let them grow. 2. Birth control doesn't eliminate fibroids, just manages bleeding. 3. Surgical removal of individual fibroids. They often grow back. 4. Hysterectomy. Remove entire uterus. Most common solution. So black women are given 2 real choices: suffer or remove your ability to have children. And many are forced to choose hysterectomy because the pain and bleeding make life unlivable. She shows statistics. Hysterectomy rates. Black women, 50% higher rate than white women, often performed by age 35 to 40, removes ability to bear children. Psychological impact, loss of womanhood, identity. Physical impact, early menopause, hormonal issues. They're being systematically made unable to reproduce at normal rates. Banks. Deuteronomy 28 verse 18. Cursed shall be the fruit of thy body. She writes it on the board. Banks. Not you won't have children, but the fruit of thy body, the reproductive system itself, shall be cursed, afflicted, diseased, failing. Banks sits with Dr. Jennifer Miles, 45, black OBGYN, visibly emotional. Banks, Dr. Miles, you're an OBGYN specializing in fibroid treatment. How many black women have you treated for fibroids? Dr. Miles, thousands. In 20 years of practice, I'd estimate 80% of my black patients over 30 have had fibroids. Banks, 80%. Doctor, yes. And they suffer. Some for years before seeking treatment because they think it's normal. My mama had it, my grandmama had it, so it must be normal. Banks, but it's not normal. No, white women get fibroids, yes. But not at this rate, not this severity. And when I bring up the disparity at medical conferences, nobody has answers. What do they say? More research needed. Genetic predisposition. Environmental factors. But nothing explains why 90% of black women will develop this condition. Banks, have you ever considered a spiritual explanation? I'm a doctor. I deal in science. Science can describe what's happening, but can it explain why it's happening to one specific group at rates that defy medical explanation? Long silence. No, it can't. Isaiah 3 verse 17. The Lord will discover their secret parts. Written 2,700 years ago, describing a reproductive health crisis that wouldn't happen until now. Dr. Miles, I've removed the uteruses of women in their 30s, women who wanted more children, women who felt like they lost their womanhood, and I had no answer for why it happened to them. Banks, now you have an answer. They're the daughters of Zion, under the curse, just like the prophecy said. The team processes the medical data. Chen finds more. Chen, there's another reproductive issue we haven't covered. Pregnancy complications. He projects data. Pregnancy complications, black women. Preeclampsia, 60% higher rate. Gestational diabetes, 50 to 80% higher rate. Preterm birth, 50% higher rate. Stillbirth, 2x higher rate. Infant mortality, 2.3x higher rate. Babies die in first year. Maternal mortality, 3x higher rate. Mothers die. Even when they can conceive, even when they carry to term, the outcomes are worse. The babies die at higher rates. The mothers die at higher rates. Riley Deuteronomy 28:18 again. Cursed shall be the fruit of thy body and the fruit of thy land. Okafor, the fruit of thy body, children, reproductive capacity, it's all under curse. Banks, and nobody talks about it. Not in churches. Not in mainstream medicine. Not in media. Black women are suffering a reproductive health crisis that affects nearly all of them, and it's treated like a footnote. She writes on the board, Isaiah 3:17, discover their secret parts. Reproductive system afflictions, internal, not just external. Uterine fibroids, 80 to 90% of black women. Higher hysterectomy rates, forced sterilization through disease. Maternal mortality, 3x higher. Infant mortality, 2.3x higher. Pregnancy complications, 50 to 80% higher rates. Infertility and miscarriage, higher rates. Medical dismissal of symptoms, pain ignored. Banks, every aspect of their reproductive system is under attack. Medical, systematic, prophesied. Roof, late night. Banks stands alone. Okafor finds her. You okay? My grandmother had alopecia. Her edges never grew back. She wore wigs her whole life. I'm sorry. She used to say, the daughters of Zion lost their crowning glory. I thought she was being poetic, biblical metaphor. She turns to Okafor, tears in her eyes. She was telling me, literally, her hair fell out because she's a daughter of Zion under the curse. And I didn't understand until now. Okafor, now you understand, now I understand, and I can't unknow it. Every bald spot, every weave, every wig, every black woman walking down the street with thinning edges, I see the prophecy fulfilled, in real time. What do we do with that knowledge? Banks. We finish the series, we document all 12 episodes, we prove it beyond doubt, and then we let people decide what to do with the truth. Okafor, some people won't want it. But that's not our problem. Our job is to present the evidence. What they do with it is between them and God. Fade out. Black women in the United States experience hair loss at rates 6 times higher than other demographic groups. Black women die from pregnancy-related causes at 3 times the rate of white women, regardless of income or education level. Between 1929 and 1974, over 7,600 people were forcibly sterilized in North Carolina alone. The majority were black women. From 1845 to 1849, Dr. J. Marion Sims performed experimental surgeries on enslaved black women without anesthesia or consent. He is called the father of modern gynecology. Isaiah 3:17-24. The Lord will smite with a scab the crown of the head of the daughters of Zion, and instead of well-set hair baldness and burning instead of beauty. Written approximately 700 BCE.